Just trying to help you relax, sis, Emma smirked, leaning against the hospital doorway. You're always so wound up with your anxiety. I thought mixing in some sleeping pills would help you chill out. My name is Sophie Walker, and I was lying in the ICU after what the doctors initially thought was an accidental overdose. The toxicology report in my hand told a different story. You could have killed me, I whispered, my voice still weak from having my stomach pumped. The words on the report blurred as tears filled my eyes. Traces of prescription sleep medication found mixed with my regular anxiety medication. Don't be so dramatic, Emma rolled her eyes. I only put a few pills in. Besides, you're fine now, aren't you? Fine. I collapsed during an important presentation at work in front of my entire team and our biggest client. My heart had nearly stopped. The paramedics said 5 more minutes and I wouldn't have made it. But to Emma, that was fine. Our father appeared behind her, his face ashen as he read the report over my shoulder. Emma, what have you done? Dad, please, she scoffed. Sophie's always complaining about her anxiety. I was just trying to be a good sister. You know how important family is to you. Family. That word had become a weapon since my father married Emma's mother 3 years ago. Every manipulation, every accident, every cruel prank was excused because we were family. The monitor beside my bed beeped as my heart rate increased. Dr. Torres stepped into the room, her expression grim as she took in the scene. Mr. Walker, we need to discuss the toxicology results, she said firmly. The combination of medications found in your daughter's system wasn't accidental. Someone deliberately tampered with her prescription. Emma's smirk faltered slightly. It was just a few sleeping pills. Sophie's always so stressed about everything. I thought. You thought wrong, Dr. Torres cut her off. Mixing sleeping medication with anxiety medication could have caused respiratory failure. Ms. Walker could have died. My father sank into the chair beside my bed, the report trembling in his hands. For 3 years, he dismissed my concerns about Emma's behavior. She's just trying to bond, he'd say. Give her a chance. The chances had started small. Emma accidentally deleting important files from my laptop. Emma mistakenly spilling coffee on my work documents. Emma helpfully rescheduling my appointments without telling me. But this was different. This was calculated. The police will want to speak with you, Dr. Torres continued, checking my vitals. Tampering with prescription medication is a serious crime. Police? Emma's voice rose an octave. Daddy, you can't let them involve the police. I was just trying to help. For the first time, I saw real fear in her eyes. Not concern for my well-being, but fear for herself. The perfect stepdaughter facade was cracking. You could have killed your sister, my father said quietly, still staring at the report. Stepsister. Emma corrected automatically, then seemed to realize her mistake as our father's head snapped up. The silence in the room was deafening. 3 years of Emma playing the devoted daughter, and in one moment of panic, she'd revealed her true feelings. I think, my father said slowly, you should wait outside while I speak with the doctor. But Daddy. Now Emma. As she stormed out, I caught a glimpse of something dark in her expression. The same look I'd seen countless times before when things didn't go her way. But this time, there was no hiding behind family loyalty. The toxicology report told a story that no amount of manipulation could change. Dr. Torres began explaining the details of what they'd found in my system, but my mind was already racing ahead. For the first time since my father's marriage, I had concrete proof of Emma's malice. The question was, what would I do with it? The police interview took place the next morning. Detective Sarah Martinez sat beside my hospital bed, her notebook open as I recounted 3 years of escalating incidents. Miss Walker, she interrupted gently, why didn't you report any of these previous incidents? I glanced at my father, who stood by the window looking years older than he had just days ago. They seemed minor in comparison, and Emma always had an excuse. She was just trying to help, or it was just a misunderstanding. And your father? Detective Martinez asked, noting my glance. He wanted us to be a family, I said quietly. After Mom died, he was so desperate for that perfect family dynamic again. Emma and her mother seemed to provide that. The detective nodded, reviewing her notes. And this incident with your medication. I keep my anxiety medication in my bathroom cabinet. Last week, I noticed the pills looked slightly different, but I thought maybe the pharmacy had changed manufacturers. It's happened before. You should have told me, my father interjected, his voice rough with emotion. Would you have believed me? I asked, meeting his eyes. You didn't believe me about the deleted presentation files, or the misplaced client contracts, or the mysterious cancellations of my therapy appointments. His silence was answer enough. Detective Martinez cleared her throat. We've obtained security footage from your apartment building showing Emma entering your unit last Tuesday evening when you were at your late meeting. This was news to me. She has a key. Your stepmother provided it to her, my father admitted. For emergencies. Well, Detective Martinez continued, the footage shows her entering at 7:43 p.m. and leaving at 7:51 p.m. The pharmacy confirmed your prescription was filled that morning. Timeline fits with when you started noticing the different pills. A knock at the door interrupted us. Dr. Torres entered with another report. We've completed the full analysis, she announced. The sleeping medication mixed into your prescription was a powerful sedative, far stronger than over-the-counter sleep aids. We're trying to trace where it came from. I can help with that, my father said quietly. Carol, Emma's mother, has a prescription for sleeping pills. She's had trouble sleeping since her first husband died. Detective Martinez made a note. We'll need to speak with Mrs. Walker about securing her medication. Ex-Mrs. Walker, my father corrected. The divorce papers were filed this morning. I stared at him in shock. He'd been so in love with Carol, so convinced that she and Emma were the answer to his loneliness after Mom died. Sophie, he continued, moving to my bedside, I've been a fool. I was so focused on building this new perfect family that I couldn't see what was happening to the family I already had. Before I could respond, commotion erupted in the hallway. Emma's voice rang out, shrill and angry. You can't do this. I live here. That's my sister's room. Carol's voice followed, trying to calm her daughter. Emma, please, we need to leave. The restraining order. Restraining order? Emma appeared in my doorway, her face flushed with rage. You filed a restraining order against me? Your own sister. Stepsister. I echoed her words from yesterday. Remember? Detective Martinez stood, positioning herself between Emma and my bed. Miss Reynolds, you were informed not to approach this floor. We can add violation of a restraining order to the existing charges. Charges? Emma's voice rose higher. Daddy, tell them I was helping. Sophie's always been jealous of me, always trying to make me look bad. 6 months after the incident, I sat in the courthouse, watching Emma plead guilty to charges of aggravated assault and medication tampering. The attempted murder charge had been reduced as part of a plea deal that included mandatory psychiatric evaluation and treatment. The defendant will serve 3 years in state prison, the judge announced, followed by 5 years of supervised probation. Emma stood emotionless, a far cry from the perfectly poised stepdaughter she once pretended to be. Her mother, Carol, sat in the back row, dabbing at her eyes with a tissue. The divorce from my father had been finalized 2 months ago. As we left the courthouse, reporters approached us. Emma's case had gained attention, highlighting the often overlooked dangers of prescription medication tampering. My father stepped in front of me, shielding me from their cameras. My daughter needs privacy to heal, he said firmly. We have no comment. Healing had been a complex journey. Physical recovery was straightforward. The doctors had caught the medication interaction in time. The emotional healing, however, was ongoing. I'd started seeing a new therapist, Dr. Reynolds, who specialized in family trauma. During one session, she helped me understand something crucial. Your anxiety wasn't the problem, she'd said. It was Emma's excuse. People like her often target what they perceive as weakness, but really they're revealing their own insecurities. Those words stayed with me as I watched Emma being led away in handcuffs. How many times had she used my anxiety against me, making me doubt my own perceptions? Back home, my father had made changes too. He'd installed a state-of-the-art security system in both our apartments. My medication was now kept in a biometric safe. Some might call it paranoid, but we learned the hard way about trust. I got rid of the guest room furniture, he told me over dinner that evening. Carol's been asking to collect it, but I think it's better to make a clean break. I nodded, understanding the symbolism. That furniture represented his failed attempt at building a new family at the expense of the one he had. I found something while clearing it out, he continued, pulling out a familiar photo album. Remember these? The album contained pictures from before Mom died, before Carol and Emma entered our lives. Pictures of family camping trips, birthday parties, simple moments of genuine happiness. We were enough, he said softly, touching a photo of Mom. I forgot that in my rush to replace what we'd lost. I'm sorry, Sophie. We're still enough, Dad, I replied, reaching for his hand across the table. My recovery became about more than just healing from the medication incident. I started speaking at support groups for people who'd experienced family betrayal. My story resonated with others who'd faced similar manipulation. Emma wrote me a letter from prison, part of her mandatory therapy program. It was full of excuses thinly disguised as apologies. I never meant to hurt you, she wrote. I just wanted Dad to see me as the better daughter. I didn't respond. Some relationships aren't meant to be salvaged. Work became a sanctuary. My team, who had witnessed my collapse during that presentation, welcomed me back with unprecedented support. The client, impressed by how our company handled the crisis, signed a long-term contract. You know, my boss said during my first week back, that presentation you were giving before, everything? The client wants to see it, when you're ready. I was ready, more than ready. Emma had tried to silence me, to make me disappear, but she'd only made me stronger. 1 year after the incident, I stood in front of that same client, delivering the presentation that had been interrupted by my collapse. My hands were steady, my voice clear. Yes, I still had anxiety, but I no longer saw it as a weakness to be exploited. My father sat in the back of the conference room, beaming with pride. We'd been through hell, but we'd emerged stronger, wiser, and more appreciative of the family we had, just the two of us. That evening, as we shared dinner at our favorite restaurant, my father raised his glass. To survival, he said, and to never letting anyone tamper with our lives again. I raised my glass, adding, to real family, the kind that protects instead of poisons. The toxicology report that had exposed Emma's true nature now sat in a file somewhere in the police archives. But its impact lived on in the lessons we learned about trust, family, and the strength it takes to rebuild after betrayal. Sometimes the most toxic people come disguised as family, but real family, true family, helps you heal, not hurt. Emma had tried to break me, but she'd only succeeded in breaking the illusion of her perfect stepdaughter facade. And in its place, my father and I had built something stronger, truth. Enough. My father's voice cracked like thunder. You nearly killed your sister. The security footage, the toxicology reports, your own admission. It's over, Emma. No more excuses. Emma's face contorted, the mask of perfect stepdaughter finally shattering completely. Fine, she's always been in the way anyway. Ever since Mom and I moved in, it's been poor Sophie this and be careful of Sophie's anxiety that. I just wanted her to disappear for a while. Well, Detective Martinez said calmly, you may get your wish. Attempted murder charges typically involve disappearing for quite a while, into a prison cell. As security arrived to escort Emma and Carol from the floor, I watched my father sink back into his chair, his head in his hands. The perfect family he tried so hard to build had been a facade, and it had nearly cost him the daughter he already had. The detective gathered her notes, promising to return for a formal statement once I was stronger. As she left, Dr. Torres adjusted my medication drip, my real, untampered medication. Dad, I said softly, reaching for his hand. It's not your fault. He looked up, his eyes wet. I should have seen it. Should have believed you. Your mother would be so disappointed in me. Mom would want us to heal, I replied. Both of us. He squeezed my hand, and for the first time in 3 years, I felt like I had my father back. Sometimes it takes nearly losing everything to see what was worth saving all along.